Welcome back. It's been a few weeks since we've done a cash practice training Tuesday, and this is the first one since the election. Also, today was the first mastermind coaching call that I had with my cash practice mastermind group since the election, and I came into it knowing that there were some specific things that I wanted to pass along regarding how to prepare our practices for the transition of power from Trump to Biden. There's some very, very important things to know. This is not a political statement. I'm not making opinions. This is business, straight up business. There are certain things that are possibilities, not for sure they're going to happen, but they're possibilities that could cripple a private practice. And there are simple things that we can do that you're going to learn in this video to try and mitigate that damage and even, take advantage of opportunities and really thrive when others who don't know this stuff are not, because they didn't prepare ahead of time. So what do I mean by all this? Biden, one of his big things on his platform was how he's going to handle the pandemic differently to get it under control, differently than Trump has so far. And Trump's approach has been mainly to let the states make the decisions on, what they want to do, the laws they put in place, the restrictions, the business closures. Some states decided to shut down a lot of different businesses, including physical therapy practices, right? Some states did not. They decided that, they were going to shut certain businesses down, but that physical therapy and other related, what we call tertiary services, OT, PT, speech, chiropractic, these kinds of things, they didn't get shut down. They were considered essential, right? And on a state-by-state basis, you either got lucky or you didn't in that, depending on how you view it. But given Biden is going to be the president of the United States, and he's going to, do things differently, my guess is that the actions he takes will, at least some of those will be nationwide. Doesn't matter what the states say, or they can fight it if they want to, but there's going to be things that happen on a nationwide basis. So just because you weren't shut down before, if you have a private practice in a state that you didn't get shut down, doesn't mean that that's going to happen. That's going to be the case if we have a big second wave of the virus, which does seem to be ramping up right now. And I know because I have a COVID testing business and it's going crazy. So I think given those things as a foundation that he's saying so strongly, he is going to handle this differently. It's probably going to be certain things on a nationwide basis. And we don't know that they're going to just say, okay, anything medical, anything healthcare is considered essential. They might look a little deeper and say, look, outpatient tertiary services like physical therapy and occupational therapy, we're not considering those essential. You guys are shut down until further notice. We don't know. And so I think that we should hope for the best, but plan for that to happen. And it doesn't mean that we have to invest like significant amount of time and money. There's some simple things we can do, and I want to outline right now. And I really hope that this doesn't come to pass, that this was just, precautionary. And the beautiful thing is, again, it doesn't have to take a bunch of time or money or effort to do these things. So there's no excuse to have these things in place. Okay. I do not want my colleagues losing their businesses when it could have been avoided. So please listen up and take action on this. All right. First, if you don't have telehealth set up at this point, come on. Like most EMRs have incorporated it, and even if they haven't, you can easily set it up through a cheap but very useful software like Doxy.me. I use IntakeQ as our EMR, and we just pay $10 per month per practitioner to be able to do telehealth. It's cheap, it's easy, and in those scenarios of things getting shut down, if you don't have it set up, you'll spend probably a few days just trying to figure it all out. And in fact, if you don't have it in place yet, back when this all started in March, we put together, we got it going in our practice in like less than 48 hours, and I put a very quick telehealth quick start guide together, totally free. It doesn't even have a bunch of automated follow-up emails at all. It's just there for you guys, whoever needs it. If you're not set up on telehealth, drjarodcarter.com/telehealth. There you go. Download that guide. It'll help kind of give you the step-by-step on how to get going. So that's a given. I think most people do have telehealth options. A lot of people are still doing a lot of telehealth, but I can tell from my students and even in my own practice, it's dropped way off. Over time, more and more people have just been more comfortable with coming in. We probably haven't kept our foot on the gas as much as I would have liked on getting telehealth patients from around the state. And so our percentage of telehealth clientele now compared to back in June is very, very low comparatively. So what I'm planning to do, and what I would suggest you guys do as well, is to start identifying those clients who are coming into the clinic that would be really appropriate for at least occasional visits being done online, and just saying, hey, why don't we do this next one online? I can easily, update your home program and teach you this, this technique I want to teach you next time, to use the Theracane to kind of reproduce what I'm doing with my hands. It doesn't have to be like switch everyone to telehealth, but like where you can pick out those patients that at least some of their visits could be telehealth. Start doing that now. Now, if you charge less for telehealth, you don't want to take a big revenue hit before you have to, but I'm telling you, the higher the percentage of telehealth revenue that you have going when a potential shutdown happens, right? And there's other cases I'm going to talk about in a second, but when a potential shutdown happens, like the better off you're going to be. Most of the energy to get from 0 to 60, it happens in that first 20 miles an hour. So if you're up to 10 miles an hour, then you're actually way better off than if you're starting at 0. So starting to utilize more telehealth and utilizing the capabilities with the patients that you feel would be easiest to do it with, please start doing that now. The other thing outside of actual shutdowns from, whether it's governmental or state-based, federal or state-based, is what if you or any of your staff have an exposure, and then or all the staff gets exposed and you have to shut down for that reason, right? Or in the case-by-case basis of a patient that got exposed or is having symptoms and they come in. What I want you guys to start doing is, just as a matter of fact, and just telling people, start to plant the seeds, have all your staff planting seeds with your current plans of care, to have those conversations, just talk about, I just did a telehealth visit. It's great. It's so cool. I've never done that before. All this started, but now that we're doing it, we're seeing these great results. I'm like, why weren't we doing this before? And, just planting the seeds that it works, just getting people open to the idea that this is even a thing in physical therapy. Because if they haven't done it with you before, they might not know. And then if they have to cancel because they're worried they were exposed, or if you have to cancel because you're exposed or your clinic shut down, the likelihood of them saying yes when you've already planted those seeds of, hey, this stuff works, we're already doing it, we're having great results with our patients using it, the likelihood of them saying yes is so much higher. And in fact, I'd take it another step further beyond that and say that just as a matter of fact kind of statement is saying, as we go into the winter, there is a chance, you might get exposed, you might not want to come in. We might get exposed. We don't know for sure. There might be shutdowns. We don't know. But as you know from what I've been telling you about these other clients, that, telehealth works, and it will most definitely be able to help maintain your progress. There's no reason for you or any of our patients to lose any progress that we've gained. You've already gotten to XYZ goal. We're going to take you to there. And I don't want a drop back from that point because you can't come in or we can't see you for some reason. And there's no reason for that because we have telehealth. We can do this. And just so that if you ever need to cancel for those reasons or we have to cancel, it's not going to be a cancellation. We're just going to shift that appointment to a telehealth visit. And you might get a little pushback here and there, but if you've pre-framed them, if you've been talking about it for a week or two and saying, talking up how great the telehealth thing is and the results that people are getting, you're not going to get as much pushback as you think. And when it comes to the time where, this comes to pass on an individual basis or clinic-wide, you will retain so many more of your clients, so much more of your revenue. It can literally be business saving. And what are we talking about here? It's easy to set up telehealth right now. Most EMRs already have it. And it's easy to have those discussions and just plant those seeds and let them know. If you can't come in because of symptoms, or not because of symptoms, obviously they feel like crap, they might not want to be doing their appointment, even telehealth, even online. But, if you're worried about exposure or we have to shut down, we're just shifting to telehealth. We're going to keep you moving in the right direction. It's all good. And just framing it in that way, how easy, how cheap or free that is, and the impact it can have on your business if any of those things come to pass, guys. There's no reason not to do this. There's zero reason. The only reason not to start seeing some patients where you can on a telehealth basis is if you're already if you're charging less for telehealth visits than regular and you don't want to take that hit in revenue. And I fully understand if that's the case. But really, the other stuff, it's just no reason not to start to plant these seeds and put these things in place. Because if you need to execute on this strategy, you got to be able to move fast, and you got to have as much pre-buy-in as possible from your clients if you're going to make this work. I promise. So if you appreciate this message, if you have any questions about how to implement this or how to pre-frame, how to sell these services, please let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we'll get back into more regular cash practice training Tuesdays. Took a little bit of a break with some vacation and starting a new business and a few other things. Just good craziness in life. But yeah, we'll be getting more consistent with these again. And as always, thank you for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions below. And if you appreciated this, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next Tuesday.